This daily mobility series has 3 different moves targeting 3 different areas. First being the hips, we're going to open up nice and dynamically. The second one being your spine, we're going to get a little bit of a cat-cow situation going on there. And then the third move is going to be a yummy upper back between the shoulder blade stretch. So it feels really good. You're going to need a slider for the first move, the hip move. If you don't have a slider, you can use either a paper plate or a rag on like a slidey floor, or a paper plate on a carpet should work okay. So begin with the first move. I'm going to show you from the side here. So we're going to start in a quadruped position, hands and knees. We're going to put one foot on the slider just like this. I'm going to have you extend out and keeping yourself anchored in your knee that's on the ground. You're just going to push out to the side and then through that back leg, you're going to try to pull your hip back on top of your knee. You should feel a nice stretch in the side here. We're going to repeat this probably 3 times. 2. Get a little bit deeper each time. And then pulling it back in. Now I'm going to give it a nice sweep all the way around to the back. So starting by sitting back toward my hip here, getting a little bit deeper with my hip as well. Reaching it behind me. Run into the wall, but that's okay. We'll keep sliding. And then eventually it's crossing over the line of my body and I'm sitting into my glute on that anchored knee side. And then we're going to pull it back around. Going to walk up a little bit so we get a little more distance here. So sliding into it nice and deep and just rolling with that half circle. Good, and from here we'll crawl over to this side. So here I'm feeling it in my anchored side glute, my left glute, and then all through this lateral line of my upper body. Yeah, bring those hands back, push through that grounded knee leg, and you're going to pull yourself back to your starting position. We'll repeat that on the other side. You're starting quadruped, extending that leg out to the side. First, we're just going to start by opening into kind of like a middle split position and then pulling our hips back over that knee that's staying grounded. 3 of these. Try to get a little bit deeper, make sure you're breathing. Exhale up. And on this one, we're going to go deep and then we're going to sweep it behind. And sit into the hip on this side. Good, push back out. Bring it around, and feel free to make this your own. This is just to serve as kind of like a starting point, an inspiration. And then back. This one I'm going all the way to almost where I'm resting my glute on the floor, and then I'm coming into like an up and over position with my arms. And then bring it back to center. Okay, the next move we're going to do is an arch and round. It's a variation on cat-cow. You're sitting a little bit back into it and you get a lot of low back out of this one. So I really like this one. So we'll start with a little bit of cat-cow. Push up into a nice round back. I want you to tuck your tail underneath. Push away from the floor as hard as you can. Try to separate those shoulder blades. And then I want you to bring your tailbone close to your heels. So you're kind of sitting back into it here. And lay your feet flat if that's more comfortable. And then on your exhale, you're going to pull that chest through and pull your tailbone behind you. So we're going to continue with this move right here. Take a big breath in, tuck that tail underneath. If you want to come a little bit more forward, again, play with this. See what feels good for you. Feeling a nice long stretch in that low back here. You can even keep it dynamic by moving. And then bring it back to, this one's cow, I think. Back up, rock it back. You don't have to come back to hands and knees every time. You can simply stay down here and get the whole spinal movement right here if you'd like to. Up to you. Big pull for that tailbone to come under you. And then release it behind you. Give it a little shift side to side, get those glutes. And the last one we're gonna do is the thread the needle. So starting pretty much in that hands and knees position, you're gonna take one hand, you're gonna sit back into your legs, into your hips, and then you're gonna take your palm facing upward and you're just gonna thread it underneath, just like this. So my hips are square to the floor and my shoulders are square to you. I brought this hand back for a little more support because I can get a little bit deeper twist with it. I can push away from the floor. So we're trying to get a nice wide upper back here. I'll show you on the other side. Threading it under. Might get a little cracking. Bringing that arm back for support. Hips square to the floor, shoulders square to the wall behind me.